Well, good morning. The morning after the day before. Just want to give you a brief preamble here before the video to try and kind of just set the scene and perhaps explain how things panned out towards the end, because it maybe wasn't clear in the video. It just kind of came to a stop. The intention was to go up Ben Venue in the Trossachs area just outside Aberfoyle, and the way I went really wasn't the way to go if you're walking. My route was from Aberfoyle to Ledard Farm at on the edge of Loch Ard to head up the mountain and come back the same way. It's 4 miles on road, 3 miles to the top of the mountain, 3 miles back, and 4 miles back on the road. 14 miles. It's not the way to go. It really isn't. I mean, the shortest, it's a shorter kind of way up Ben Venue from Loch Ard. I think it's Loch Ard Hotel. But I've always found it difficult trying to figure out how to get to some of these areas in the Trossachs, because there's an absence of bus service in a lot of these areas. You can get a bus obviously to Aberfoyle, but there's no bus in the area of Loch Ard or Loch Ard. And I mean, the way to go would have been to make use of Stirling Council's demand responsive taxi, where you phone up the day before or whenever and book a taxi for a particular journey, and you pay just the equivalent of a bus fare. Seems like a fairly good system. I don't know why I didn't use it. I should have done. That way you could have got a taxi from Aberfoyle to Loch Ard or Aberfoyle to Loch Ard and taken one of these routes up to the top of Ben Venue. Another option is bicycle hire. There is a bike hire place in Aberfoyle, but yesterday was Tuesday and the bike hire place isn't open on Tuesday. Sometimes you feel that the whole world's just having a bit of a go at you, So I rather foolishly, although I prepared myself, I kind of sorted out the time and I thought I can do this. But in the end I couldn't. I didn't get to the top of Ben Venue. And there had been a lot of rain, excuse me, the day before. The ground was saturated, it was muddy, the path was just a nightmare, In most cases, most of the time, the path, you had to watch where you were putting every single foot. And that becomes very tedious and mentally tiring after a while. You can't really enjoy yourself. You're watching out where you're going. It was just fiddly-footery, and I wasn't really enjoying it. Also started raining at one point. There wasn't any rain in the weather forecast. I thought, oh my God, what's happening? And at one stage I fell. It was a slip fall. It's just one of these sort of things where one minute you're walking and next minute you're lying on the ground. In a fraction of a second, it just happens like that. And it takes you a second or two to figure out what happened. I'm lying there thinking, well, I thought maybe I could have twisted my knee the way I kind of went down, but I hadn't, I was fine. But my camera was lying on the ground with me. Both of us were sitting in a black peaty puddle. As I said, no damage was done apart from the fact that my backside was black with this peaty stuff and wet. Just, and it's as well I fell there on a kind of flat area of ground as opposed to in other areas of the walk, which were actually pretty iffy. I've been up Ben Venue probably, I think once or twice, decades ago. I don't remember it being just as iffy. I don't remember feeling as scared as I was And it was, in quite a few areas, it was pretty frightened, you know. Because the path was just, in places the path was a really narrow thing, right at the edge of a pretty severe slope, that if you had gone over, you would just have gone down and down and down, you wouldn't have stopped. And I get a bit scared at places like that, because having slipped and fallen, I realised how it's that kind of muddy stuff where there's no warning, your foot just goes away from you. And if that had happened in one of these places by an edge, it's not good, you know. So I started to become a little bit concerned. I was possibly the only person on the mountain that was concerned, because everybody else I saw seemed perfectly happy. But if it's just me. And on the whole, I really didn't enjoy the walk. There was one place, just at the kind of place where I fell, there was tremendous views, and I managed to catch some of those on camera, and hopefully that'll be the only sort of decent bit about this video. The rest, the only decent bit about the walk for me, as I say, I didn't enjoy the walk. I decided to turn back. I mean, I would love to be able to say, as I was sitting there eating my pie, yeah, the top's just up there. But no, it wasn't. It was quite a distance away. I could see these rocky things going on and on and on. I thought, where the heck is the top? At this point, I was just completely wrecked. Physically, I don't think I could have gone any further. I knew I had to go back. I had to go back that 3 miles off the hill and 4 miles on road. And it's as well I did stop the video and turn back when I did, because if it had continued, you know, if you're tired, if you kind of push yourself, given the terrain, the rocky terrain, and there was a bit of scrambling involved, which I'm never very happy with, more so when I'm carrying a camera on a tripod. You start to put yourself at an increased risk of slips and things. You start to take less care, and I thought, this is just not good. It's just time to turn back. And as I say, it's as well I did, because if I had continued, I would have missed the last bus. Thankfully I got a lift. The last 3 miles, heading back along the road, and I saw a little kind of van or a car in a lay-by, and went up to the guy. I said, "You get into Aberfoyle?" And he must have knew right away by looking at me that I needed a lift, you know. I mean, I would have got the additional 3 miles back to Aberfoyle, but God, I was thankful for that lift, you know. And it meant I actually got the bus back to Glasgow that I had intended to get back. And as I was telling the bus driver about my little kind of slip, and he was saying that sitting in a puddle is okay when you're 3 or 4 years old, but when you're an old guy, it's not really a lot of fun. Here's the video. Hello there. Well, I'm in the Aberfoyle area and I'm going up Benvenue. It's a mountain I've been up probably twice, I think, in the past. There was a third attempt. I kind of led a companion a kind of different way, and one of these kind of shortcuts, it wasn't short, and we never reached the top. We had to turn back in order to get the bus back to Glasgow. That was a bit of a disaster on my part. Just like Ben Ledy at Calendar, this is going to be the last time I'll be up this mountain. It's going to be a hard slog. You know, I've walked from Aberfoyle. It's 4 miles on the road. It's 3 miles to the top of Benvenue, 3 miles back, and the 4 miles back on the road. 14 miles. And the road, the tarmac's always going to be a killer. So I just kind of put in the initial 4 miles quickly and set up a camera here to get things up and running. I think when you get to my age, and I'm sort of starting to feel old, and I'm starting to look old. I'm 60 something or other. I'll be 68 this year. And sometimes I catch a glimpse of myself in a mirror when I'm passing a shop window, and I think, oh, old guy. And I'm starting to get aches and things, you know, lying in my bed, my hips start to ache, my shoulders start to ache, my elbows started to ache the other night. I was standing washing the dishes in the sink and my knee thought it'd have a wee ache to itself. I thought, what the flip is going on here? Old age, that's what's going on. And I was getting the bus at Buchanan Street bus station this morning, went to use the toilet. The normal way into the gents' toilet was a big sign saying closed. And the only other time that's happened, you sort of just went in another way, it didn't cost you anything. And I thought, I wonder which way in, is it this way? But the way I thought you would go in, you couldn't. And one of the security guards came over and he just kind of brusquely pointed towards the machine to put your money in at this bit. I hadn't noticed that machine. I thought, I don't know what I thought. And I could just, it did it in a quite offhand, as I say, abrupt manner. And I could just hear him thinking, look at that old guy, he can't even find his way into the toilet. How is he going to find his way up the hill or the mountain? I could have seen him far enough. Thankfully I didn't kind of wrap my rucksack around his neck and dragged him from one end of the building to the other. I just let it go. So it's a bit of a slog. Stop twittering so much. I'm trying to make a video here. Alright. Music, as far as this video is concerned, I think you could probably say this is my tribute to Leslie West, Felix Pappalardi, Corky Lang, Steve Knight, and perhaps even Jack Bruce. It's mountain time. Yeah, I'll show that security guard. I'll find my way to the top of this mountain. Just watch. To be honest, when you reach my age, your brain starts to make up all sorts of excuses as to why you shouldn't engage in strenuous activity. Over the last couple of days, especially yesterday, my brain's conjuring up all sorts of reasons not to do this. You're an old guy, Ed. It's a bit much, you know. You're getting a bit achy. The weather's not certain. just any number of excuses. The hay fever, or why do they call it hay fever when it's trees? The tree fever, flaming trees. I'm surrounded by trees here. The tree fever was a pretty big one actually. It makes me feel like crap at this time of year, it really does. Even this alarm goes, it's the first thing in the morning on the day of the strenuous activity, and your brain's saying, just switch off, Ed, forget about it, just stay in your bed. You've really got to push yourself sometimes and really make that effort, but it does invariably pay dividends. Because once we get to the top of Benvenue, we're going to get quite magnificent views over this part of the Trossachs area. Ben Ann and Loch Ard and so on and so forth. It will be quite stunning, and weather-wise it is actually pretty good. There has been the odd little shower, but on the whole it's okay. It's warm, and I think the jacket's going to have to come off at some point. In fact, I think I'll take it off right now. So onwards and upwards. I'm actually here, I've made the effort. Let's go for it. It's getting cold now. A wee bit of height. We're sort of come out of the woodland there. I might have to put my jacket back on again. And straight ahead we can see the kind of jaggy mountainous bits of Benvenue. Time wise I'm just not sure. I'm not sure at all. So I just need to put my head down and go for it and keep the filming to a minimum until I hit the top. Just behind me I took a shot there of Dumgoyne at the edge of the Strathblane Hills, way back at Strathblane area. Stunning little hill. You can see it from miles away, and it's a very recognisable thing. Depending on which way you approach Glasgow Airport on an aeroplane, you can see it at times from there as well. Right, let's go for this. Incidentally, I've got a venison pie. I'm going to be eating Bambi. Oh, excuse me. It's quite tough going, and I've got wind. Much worse can I get? There's a lot of rain yesterday, and there's been quite a lot of rain in the last couple of days. The ground's saturated, and it's a quagmire in places. I don't get to say that word very often, quagmire. I'm not even sure if I'm saying it right. Quagmire? 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 Answers in a postcard. Okay, I think I'm okay time-wise. I'm not sure which one of these bumps, which one of these two rocky bumps is Benvenue, but it's a well-defined path, and I'm quite happy that it's going to just lead me to the top of the right one. I've obviously got a map with me and I can figure it out, but I'm quite happy just following the path, and we'll see how we go. I should be up there by, it's 5 to 1, I should be up there by 1:30, 1:45 at a push. That'll give me 15 minutes for a quick lunch break. I want to leave the top at 2 and start making my way down, and time-wise that's going to get me back into Aberfoyle around about 5 o'clock in time for a bus just shortly after 5. There is another bus after 6, so it's, you know, it's not, there's no panic here. There was a bit of rain there. One of the burns was really in spate, or just an absolute torrent. I did wonder whether I was going to go over it or not. But if it's rain now, we've got sunshine and blue sky. Typical Scottish weather. There wasn't any forecast for it. The forecast was for it to be sunshine all day. Just can't trust the weather forecast. Check as many weather forecasts as you can. BBC Weather, Met Office, etc. In answer to which one of those two little rocky bumps I thought might be Benvenue, the answer is neither of them. Look behind me. There's about an hour to go yet. But sod it, I'm not here to turn back. I hate getting beaten. Let's go for it. I slipped back there and ended up sitting down in a black peaty puddle. My trousers are black and soaked right through. Will they let me on the bus? That's the question. But no damage done, I'm just wet and black with dirt. God save us, right. Let's go. I think this mountain's beating me. My enthusiasm is sapped somewhat. I'm looking at that and thinking, no, I'm just not going up there. It's a wee bit scarier than I thought, to be perfectly honest. It's different to Ben Ledy. There's a bit of scrambling involved, a lot of rocks and stuff. It was a bit frightening in places. I'm getting too old to be frightened. At the moment I'm looking at the other path. There's another path that heads down towards, I think it's a hotel at Loch Ard or something. Or I can't remember if that's the name of it. But there's another location, because the way I came, I thought I had the timing pretty well kind of sorted. I've underestimated this. It's taken me longer than I thought. You know, it's 2:10. I was planning to be leaving the top of the hill at 2. And that kind of little slips unsettled me a bit. I thought, as I was lying there, I thought maybe I twisted my knee or something, but I'm fine. Nothing wrong with me. My backside's wet and black. Got venison pie, very good butchers in Aberfoyle. In effect, I'm eating Bambi. You may wish to turn away. To be honest, I don't think I've got the strength to go up there. Never mind the enthusiasm. I'm done, I think it's the word. I'm done. There's no medals for going that extra mile to the top there. Nobody's going to be up there giving me a round of applause. Sometimes you've just got to look after yourself. And if you're watching this video and you're disappointed, tough cookies. Just tastes like mutton pie. It's very dry. Whoa, yeah, very dry. Right. Should be heated up, you know, that's the way these pies are supposed to be eaten. Not supposed to be eaten cold. No, I'm not going up there. A couple of bites of a pie hasn't rejuvenated me. I'm going to finish the video here. I put this camera stuff away. I was going to keep it out and film the kind of that burn that's in Spate, way back, miles back that way. I didn't film it at the time because it started raining, it was raining. But I need both hands free for the way down here, or I'll be slipping all over the place. And when I get to, there's a kind of cairn just at the foot of this bit, I'll decide whether to just go back the way I came or follow this other path down to this hotel. I think that will be a shorter route. In fact, I'll go into my rucksack and check my map. If I phone a taxi from there back to Aberfoyle, it could cost a fortune. 40 quid, I don't know. I would like it to be £15, could be £20, £25, I don't know. I'm going to be in their hands. A taxi to Aberfoyle, please. That'll be 50 quid. I don't know what it'll be. I can't think of much to say chat-wise because I'm just... Done is the word. I think I might call the video that actually. Done. I'm Eddie Burns. Take care.